Well, greetings, everybody. Just thought I'd go ahead and catch y'all up on what's going on here at the farmstead, if you will. And yeah, we'll go from there. I haven't done a springtime video yet, so I've got a few things growing. I got a few things going to seed, so I'll go ahead and show you what's growing on. Stick around. Okay, I'm in the patio garden right now. See the garden? And I'm just going to pan around and show you what we got growing on here. This is a fig tree. I'm going to prune it to try to keep it in this area right here. But you can see, let's see, small figs coming on. There's one right there. Down at the bottom, we've got, these are cabbage collards growing up. They're not doing so hot on this side. I got some more I'll show you on the other side of the garden here that's doing a little better. I planted 6, but you can see maybe they're just not getting enough sun or whatnot. And coming into my yellow onions, this is what they're looking like right now. I've got an oak tree trying to grow on my onion patch here. But you look down on these onions, they're getting a little bigger. I thought they would have been bulbed up by now. Maybe something's not right with them. I don't know. I'm giving them a couple of more weeks, and if they don't bulb up, then these guys are coming out. I need this bed for something else. So that'll be a fail if that happens. If not, we got a lot of chives we can chop up and dry out. So, all right, panning around this way. These are just regular jalapeno peppers. I just bought a tray of 6, and I got them growing. I've already got some peppers in the house, and that's what we're growing right there. So these peppers are doing pretty good. And these peppers, underneath this mulch, is just plain old yard dirt. There's nothing special. I'm not feeding them anything other than water. I haven't fertilized them or anything, and they're doing really good, the peppers are. So I'd say that jalapeno peppers are pretty hardy in just about any kind of soil you can put them in. So moving around this way, this is some more of the Parks Whopper tomatoes, and I've got Roma tomatoes in the middle. So there's 6 of the Parks Whoppers in here, and then 3 Romas down the center. And I'll show you some of these tomatoes here. Here's one that's kind of starting to get some color to it. There you go. Pretty good sized tomato right there. Let me see. That's how big that is right there. So they're starting to get a little color on them. And there's some Romas in there. There's a nice Roma hanging. Also in this bed is this is a green, or no, this is a butter crunch leaf lettuce that's kind of bolting. You see it's starting to flower out at the top. And we're just going to collect seeds and then pull these guys out and feed them to the chickens. So that's what's going on in here. There's some more starting to turn on me on the Parks Whopper. Now, painting down this way, opposite of the other fig is another fig. They're both turkey fig trees. And then more collards. Now, these collards are doing a little better over here, and it looks like I got a slug problem, so I need to get something on there. Maybe something else is getting to them. Something's definitely eating the leaves on those collard greens. Collards are planted straight in the dirt, nothing special, just the mulch on top. So coming around this way, this is, and I did a video on this, is a little experiment I did with some Miracle Grow garden soil. And this is the Blue Lake bush bean. It's supposed to be some of the best green beans out there. I've never grown these before, but that's what's going on right there with the Blue Lake bush beans. A buddy of mine brought me these over. They were in his family for a long time, so they're an heirloom from his family. And back around this way, we have regular bell peppers, and there's a blueberry bush. I had one on the other side, and this year it died completely. Didn't come out or anything, so I had to take it up. But these bell peppers, they're not doing as well as the jalapeno peppers just in the regular ground. And moving along here, I have more tomatoes. Once again with the Romas. Well, that's supposed to be a Roma in the middle. But those don't look like Roma tomatoes, do they? Wonder what that's gonna be. Huh. Oh well. And I'll get with you in a second on those tomatoes because I don't even know what these are. I have to look and see. This is a red leaf lettuce that's also bolting. You see it's coming to a head on that. I mean, they're pretty. When you look back at them, you can put those on your landscape and just eat off of them and let them bolt up. I mean, those are pretty nice. But I also had some radish in here, and the radish, here's a little bit left, didn't do as well. So, and that's just an old chayote thrown in here. It never did try to bloom out. We was trying to grow some chayote. So let me get around here and see if I can find out what these other tomatoes are. Because I think there's a tag. Oh, they're Better Boys. That's what these are, the Better Boy tomatoes. And some of them get some good size on them. And now this is definitely a Roma tomato here. This bush here is just loaded with Romas. So, and then I've got 1, 2, 3 volunteer pea plants that have popped up. I haven't even planted these peas yet this year, and I'm going to soon. So, but those are the pink eye purple hull peas that are volunteering. And let's see, I'm gonna back off this and we're going to try and do this all in one swoop. Now, if you notice here, last year I didn't have this board, and I didn't have that chicken wire down there. On a kind of the pandemic going on and food shortages and everything, the first thing I did was got me some more lumber and that chicken wire, and then started planting in this space, because before I had 2 of these turkey figs. There's 1, 2. And then a blueberry in each end. And this was an open walkway. You could just walk through it. It's just old brown mulch, you know, tree bark. But I thought, well, golly, I need to start growing some more stuff. So what's the first thing I'm going to do? And that was on a budget, was buy some lumber and some chicken wire. Just to keep my dogs out, because my dogs like to go everywhere. And then when I let the chickens out over here, they like to wander around and they get up on the back porch and stuff. So, but that's the first thing I did, was I went ahead and bought this lumber, some chicken wire, and did it all the way around. Now I don't have a gate set up for it yet, but I probably will put one right here. It'll make it easier to get in and out of there. And see, last video I had a pool here. I took it down. It's got to be cleaned. Those are the blankets I had underneath the pool because it's sitting on that concrete, or on those pavers right there. But I wanted to get a round picnic table and put in here. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So moving right along, I'm going to go this way and let you see this garden here. But first, I'm going to take you over by my entryway to the backyard. And I've got a couple bananas growing here. I don't even know what variety these are. Then my wife has got tomato, don't know what that is. And this is some sweet mint right here. And then my elderberries. Now these elderberry, I have 2 plants here. These 2 plants came from another channel, Domingo's Mundo. So some of y'all know him. He's in the homesteading community. And I first met him at the Deep South Homestead about 3 years ago at their conference. And so I got these from him. Now last year I had them. I mean, they were small, and I didn't think they were going to grow, but this year they just bolted up. So, and now you see these elderberry are full of, fixing to be blooms and stuff. So, moving along in this container here, and it's starting to do good. This is going to be a Kajari melon. If you go to Baker Creek, or you can Google it, Kajari melon. It's something new we haven't grown here before. I've got 3 of these plants in this container, and then when I'm smoldering out, this is a watermelon. And now this watermelon, and I don't know the name of it, I'll have to find out, but when this watermelon ripens, the green outside actually turns orange like a pumpkin. So that's going to be interesting if that takes place. But like I said, I got these 3 Kajari melons, and that's what's growing on in here. And then I've got a little plum tree here I got from a friend of mine, and I transplanted it, and of course it's died out. But I'm just going to keep feeding it and see if it won't come back out next year. And if not, then I will put something else in its place, because I had a guava tree here once before and it died. And well, guess what? It came back out. So it's not here. Stick around. Okay, this is the second thing I've done. Remember I told you I put the boards up over here? Well, the second thing I've done, and I made a video on that, was I hired a guy to come out here and till up part of my yard. This was just all grass. Last year, I had 8 moringa tree growing in through here, and they died out, and they came back, but I needed this space, so I ripped them out, and we tilled up this. Now, what I've got planted in here right now is the Beauregard sweet potatoes. I got 2 rows of them, and then I've got 5 rows, and I have to go through and thin these guys out. Trust me, I've only thinned out 1 row. I'm working on them. You see how thick the planter put them down? But this is the Bilicious sweet corn. And then here on the end, coming up, and that's going to be a lot, and I'll have to thin that out too, is the crimson. Daggum, I can't even think. Okra, there you go. Goodness gracious. So I use a seed planter on that too, and it's coming up. But it's, you see how close it planted them, and I'm not going to be able to have them like that. I'll let them get a little bit higher, and I'll start thinning them out so they'll have a little bit more space. I need to get me a little garden hoe in here and start tracking this corn. This corn needs to be fertilized as well. Now, the sweet potatoes have been, but the corn has not. And corn generally, between 4 and 8 inches high, you want to get some fertilizer to it. And then I just haven't found what I'm looking for. I'm looking for some liquid fertilizer, but I haven't gotten it yet, and I need to get it because this stuff is starting to bolt up. All right, now coming back around, I see tomatoes. I got tomatoes in the yard. I don't know who's throwing tomatoes. Oh, I guess I see they got wormholes in them. That's what it is. These are Roma tomatoes that have wormholes in them. Somebody went through them already. Oh, there's some more. Turning tomatoes. All right. Moving to the back of the property here. I'll put these down for now. Yeah, so I've done something a little different here. You see I've got this berm going along here, and it stops. And it starts again, stops, then starts again. So this is kind of my take on agroforestry. This is something I've learned through Pete Canaris videos, Green Dreams, Florida. And that's something that he picked up down in Brazil. And so it's kind of like just growing everything on top of one another. I don't know how else better to explain it, but I'll just go through here and I'll show you what I got growing and explain a little bit more of it. Now, this was a pink lemon tree that died out, and I had grafted to it a couple of times, and the grafts didn't take. And I was about to knock this tree down, but it came back out. So I'm going to come in here somewhere above the graft, but below the last branch of living, which is probably right there. And I will cut this tree off, and then I'll graft straight into it. So that will be something else one day, but right now it's still considered a pink lemon tree. Moving along, I have the ruby red papayas. Now, papayas last about 3 years. You might can go longer on them, but they'll get big. But about 3 years is a lifespan in this area on a papaya. And so I've got a couple of these planted, and I got some more in the greenhouse going. But that's what that is. Pink guava. Not doing good at all. I don't know why. None of the guavas are doing good here. Everything else I planted is good. This is squash. This is a straight neck squash. That's just planted in here on top of it. But the guava trees are wanting to dry out, so I'm trying to figure out that issue. Here's a Cavendish banana. I don't know his life expectancy. Here we go with some watermelon down here below this lemon tree. You see I got some blooms on it. I think that's a Jubilee on the watermelon. This lemon is a Ponderosa lemon. You've seen it, pictures of it on Instagram I've put on and on other videos. These are the ones that get the size of softballs. So this tree's been very productive, especially after pruning it last year. More watermelons, and some of the squash we put in here didn't take. Now this here is, I've grown these. These are red bananas. I've got a couple of them in here. It's going to be your, okay, now this is your straight neck squash. I guess the other was a green zucchini. Now look at this. This is a Mexican cream guava, and you see he's drying up too. Don't know why. It's not that he's not getting enough water. I just don't know what it is. So red banana squash, red banana squash. This is the Pangon Chinese honey orange tree. I thought I saw some. Here's one. Here's an orange. A couple of oranges coming on right there. And the second year, this is the third season on this tree. First season was terrible. Second season was great, man. We got probably 100 oranges off of it. And we'll see how this season goes. More watermelon. Here we go again with the Cavendish bananas. Green zucchini. Another pink guava. So basically, I've mirrored this one off of the other one over there, and the one in the middle is a little different. Now, something that I have done is on top of this, I've put on, and you can't see it right now, I know you do see some fertilizer, but that's for something else. But I've covered these with a summer clover called Elise. And so I'm hoping that it will pop up here soon and take over these little mounds, and they will put nitrogen into the soil to kind of help feed everything that's in the mounds. So, yeah, that's what's going on with that. And we will move along here to the Rain Per Lime tree, and I see one right there. Look at that. That's a Rain Per Lime coming on. Here's another one. And these are the limes that they turn kind of a yellow or an orange when they get ripe. Had it in other videos. That tree hasn't gone away from the property, so you'll see them. And let's pan around here. Now, I have, these are blueberries here. Here's some blueberries coming on here. I have 21 blueberry bushes. I've got some new ones, and these are getting dried out, the smaller ones. But I've got irrigation going to the smaller ones. You can see through here. And I'll leave this irrigation on here for a year, and I turn it on, but they, some of them are getting a little dried out. But I've got 7 different varieties of blueberry bushes. And they, I think it's recommended that you have at least 2 varieties of blueberries, but I've got 7 just to see what we like, and they all come in at different times, so that's kind of nice too. And panning around, this is old chicken coop that may or may not turn into a rabbit hutch here before too long, but we'll get into that here in just a minute. And here goes some yellow crookneck squash. You can see them blooming out. We had these plants in smaller containers in a different area, and they weren't doing good at all. I mean, they were turning yellow, but we got rid of all that, and they seem to be blooming up good here now. This right here, that's just a seed from this hay, or this straw, I mean. We use the straw to keep down the infection on the plants. That way, when it rains, it doesn't splash back up on the leaves. But this straw that we get has seeds in it, and those seeds will pollinate, and that's fine. I pick it out whenever I can. It's not that big a deal. And the chickens like it too. So we've got 5 containers of the yellow crookneck squash. There's some more coming on. Little squash. And we will move along here. My wife planted a couple of kinds of basil in here, but I see 3 plants. That looks like a sweet basil. I don't know about this one, but then there's this purple one, which has come uprooted. Look at that poor little thing. So we might have to do a replant on the basil. Sweet mint. Some kind of tomatoes she planted, I don't know. And here's some cucumbers that are doing fair, I guess. They're up against the chickens here. Here's the chickens in there. There's some chickens over there. So I got these. Now here, down there, these are the cucamelons, Mexican cucamelons that we're trying. This is the first year for us on these. And so they're starting to vine up, and we'll see what we get off of them. All right, more cucamelons. More, oh, here's a big cucumber. Look at that right there. I guess we'll take this one. That's decent size. That's the only one I see. So this will be for breakfast this morning. All right. Moving along, this trash can we had with compost, and we've gotten it to the top, and before we had a chance to move it, it started sprouting. So we let it sprout, and it just happens to be a delicata squash. And there's some of the squash coming on right there, and it'll get, and yeah, it'll be striped. And there's another one. We got a bird's nest in there, and I don't see the mother bird, but I will pan in here and show you. There's the little eggs down there. It's a little sparrow. But yeah, so we didn't plant this, it just came up on its own, and great, I hope it works out. That'll be fine. Now, here is, this is a Mr. Stacky vertical garden planter. It can be spun around, and as you see, I've got a steel rod. So you can see that, steel rod right here, going about 2 feet in the ground, straight through this other container. Now, I've got turmeric growing down here. Then I put a PVC pipe, and then this Mr. Stacky system. And so basically you can grow 20 plants in a 1 foot by 1 foot square area. This is the only one I have, and I'm trying it out because I know that a lot of people are going with the green stalks, and I'll probably get one of those and try it out. Now, look in here. I've got corn in there. I didn't know what to plant at the time. I just threw corn in there. Corn's growing. This is some kind of squash growing up here. And it's just experimental. But what I do like is how it's mounted and I can reach. I don't have to go down to get to it. I'm all about making it easier for myself, especially when I get older. Now, coming through here, we got some blackberries that we don't have planted yet. These are olive trees we replanted into 3-gallon containers, and next year they'll go up in space. So these olives, they'll be around for a while in containers. We just, every year, we'll put them in a bigger container. Some firebush in the back, some plums here. These little plum trees here are some more my friend dug up for me, but they're doing good, so hopefully they'll hold on. Here's some moringa oleifera. There's 1, 2. Moringa. I think I got more moringa. All right, here's my passion fruit starting. And you see they've got these little blossoms on them. But I've got a vine. I've got one on a trellis now, a purple one. So I've got purple and yellow passion fruit. But I've got to get them in the ground. They're just ready to go in the ground. And this is another little papaya I had planted for future stock right there. So here's that other guava that I told you about earlier that had died, and I put a plum tree in its place, and it started sprouting out. So we put it in a container. This is my Okinawa white bitter melon that I started. I'd seen on Country Homestead Preacher's video that he had bitter melon, and but it's a different type. But that's going to be the Okinawa white. And when I get a chance, it's going to have to trellis on something. Everything I'm getting now is trellising, and I don't have trellises built, so we'll have to go from there. Arkansas Traveler tomatoes I got from the feed store. He just gave them to me, said try them out, keep the seeds, so you'll have them, which is a good idea. So there's a few tomatoes on that. In the greenhouse, we have a carambola, which is your star fruit. That needs to come out, but this plastic is soon going to come off here. It's getting too hot to even have it on here, so it's going to come off. But I've got, this is a perennial peanut. This right here is a miracle fruit. Anybody familiar with miracle fruit? It's not fruiting yet. I don't see any. But the miracle fruit is a small little fruit, about the size of a raisin. And basically it alters your taste. When you take a bite of this, you can take a bite of a lemon and the lemon will taste like candy. It won't be all bitter or nothing, but I've got mint, pepper, mango tree I've planted from seed, some apple trees down here, and those are loquat trees. Got a lot of trees in here. Check this out. This is something you don't see in Northwest Florida or in the Panhandle, and that is jackfruit. So I got me a jackfruit, kept the seeds, and I've got them planted now, and they sprouted. We're doing good. This is just a coconut husk that they're planted in, but this jackfruit, I'm just gonna grow them out and probably sell them locally to people that may have a greenhouse to grow them in, because they won't grow out here. It'll get too cold and they'll die out. But if you don't know what jackfruit is, Google that. Those fruits sometimes get up to 80 pounds, 100 pounds, so check those out. All right, so now we're moving on to bell peppers. I got, oh, look at these little guys in here, little murder bugs. There's some more bell peppers. I've been harvesting off of these. Doing much better in the greenhouse than outside in the ground. Monstera deliciosa, I've got a couple of these in here. These are tropical. A lot of people buy these and put them in the house, and they kind of vine in a way. But if you can grow them in the ground, they do make a delicious fruit, kind of like a pineapple-y fruit. I've got this is a sherbet berry. One day, maybe I should just flip through all these, because a lot of this stuff is going to take time. It'll be growing for a while, but there's some more papaya growing in here. Some kind of volunteer squash back here. There's a plum tree growing. And here is a chayote that we are starting to sprout right there. So that's good. We got some more peppers in here. I don't know what. We got a Marconi pepper, and we got a few other different types in here, some sweet peppers. I don't know what all they are, but some more tomatoes. Some more tomatoes. Like I said, I don't even know what all these tomatoes are. Okay, on top of my chicken run is my scuppernons. It's like a southern grape. If y'all aren't familiar with scuppernons or muscadines, look that up. But you can see it's getting loaded, man. They're growing good. And this year, I've got 2 scuppernong bushes in there, or vines, or whatever, and they are just taking over, so that's good. The chickens like that. That's shady for them. Now, over here, and you've seen this in previous videos, got my little mulch pile growing, and I got 3 rows of the dragon tongue beans and something else. Once again, I lost the packet that the other ones came in. They look like dragon tongues, but they're not, and I'll show you in a second. And then we got butternut squash planted all back in here. So let me see if I can go in here and show you a little better on these dragon tongues, because they're good looking beans. Now the dragon tongue beans, you can use them as a snap bean when they're younger and just cook the whole thing, or if you wait till they get older, you can shell them and have shelled beans. There goes some kind of lizard. Or if you wait even longer, you can dry them out, and once again they're shelled beans, but then they're dry beans. So you can let them dry on the vine, or you can pull them early and freeze them, or however you want to do it. So let me get over here and show you this. All right, here's some. This is not the dragon tongue, but this is a type of bean that's coming on. It's pretty nice looking bean, probably ready to pick, but here's a dragon tongue. Let me find a different dragon tongue, because the dragon tongues are a little more red to them, and these other ones are more purple. So that's the purple one, and this is the dragon tongue one. But look at these little plants. They aren't big as anything, and they're all producing. And so this is my first year with the dragon tongue bean. I'm gonna go through it and try them out. I'm ready really to get them out. I don't know how much they're going to produce, but I want to go through them once so I can go ahead and start putting my pink eye purple holes in here, which may or may not come in here. If you watch on other videos how I say one thing and I do something else, I think we're all guilty of that. There's my blooms on my butternut squash, and you'll know that this is morning time because that's when the flowers bloom out. Then they'll close up. But let me get out of here and go to this other section, last section of the yard. Here's my tiller, and this is going to be a future run for something. But I've got some more of the watermelon growing out here in these leaves. Some more crookneck squash, watermelons. I've got 6 watermelons out here. Then I got 6 around the citrus trees. And then I've got that one yellow one up front. So out of 13 vines, let this airplane fly by. Out of 13 watermelons vines, we ought to grow something. So this is it. Hope you enjoyed my little walkthrough, and we'll catch you on the next video.